you're talking about poverty, you have to understand the type of individual, and I think you do, that we're dealing with. Not the poor per se. We always hear the argument of that, poor individual who's lazy, drug addict, drunk, and he shouldn't make more than $9 an hour because, heck, he would destroy himself. So therefore, business is going to do what's in the best interest of that individual by suppressing their wage for a day's work. That's their mentality. Don't have government do it. Government doesn't have a right to tell you how to live, but business does, because they're what? Smarter than you. But see, that's the American dream, George. It's not as if you don't have the same opportunity that they do. These are self-made individuals, George. They thrust themselves from their mother's womb under their own strength. Then, using that strength, they climbed up her body, attaching themselves to her teeth, taking their little arms with their little hands attached. They wrapped them around the neck of their mother, daring her to remove them from her breast as they fed themselves. This is the kind of individual we're dealing with, George. These are self-made individuals. And if you're like Lazarus, too stupid, too ignorant to care for yourself, and you want to sit outside of my gate and beg me for food, well then, George, I might have a crumb or two to spare for you. These are the kind of people that we're dealing with, George. These are self-made individuals. They themselves inserted themselves directly into the womb of their mother. And while in there, they formed the very sinew and tissue that makes up their flesh. Oh yeah, George, these are self-made individuals. These are the kind of individuals that you're dealing with when you talk about poverty. See, they're self-made, and that gives them the right to defraud over 40% of us of a livable wage. But you know what, George? It's your own fault. I mean, you can work for $7.25 an hour and support your family while taking a loan to make them even more millions of dollars, while making them millions of dollars as they defraud you of just living wages. And you can educate yourself, George. You can re-educate yourself, George, and reassert yourself, George, into the workforce and make them billions of dollars, George. And when you do that, George, then, George, maybe, just maybe, you've earned yourself a living wage. Take care, George. Godspeed.